What is up, guys? Salute. Welcome to the Amped Up Podcast, Tuesday, September 26th, 2023. We're going to be featuring the Raw review from last night, September 25th, 2023. Wait till you hear what happened on this show. You probably shouldn't be too shocked if you were truly hoping that this was the last time that you're going to see Zayn and Owens versus the Judgment Day in some variation. Not so fast. And I know some of you guys really thought this was it. BC, this is the championship title rematch. After this, it's an exclamation point, and that's it. No. Now, you got to know this company has nothing else to lean on. So wait till you hear how this night ended up. Started and ended. And it tells you that Zayn, Owens, and Cody, along with the Judgment Day, they're going to be battling to what seems like the end of time. New meaning to fight forever. We didn't literally mean it, man. Wait till you guys hear what they did last night with the Judgment Day, Zayn, Owens, and Cody. And who they added to the mix and what it means going forward. We'll talk all about it. And we're also going to discuss, obviously, what they did with Becky Lynch. Wait till you hear this. If you didn't see the show or you didn't hear about it, wait till you hear what they're doing with Becky Lynch. You can't make it up. Mind-boggling doesn't even begin to describe what this company is thinking most of the time. We're going to cover all of that and a lot more. The Raw review is coming up. I want to use this cold open teaser time, though, to talk about some breaking news. Jade Cargill, massive AEW talent. Jade Cargill, longtime TBS champion, undefeated. They were booking her to be like a Goldberg for the females. She just signed with the WWE. It is official. Now, we knew that was coming. We were hearing the rumblings. The rumblings turned into some pretty valid rumors. The valid rumors turned into just truth. The truth led to just, now it's all about just confirming it. And WWE made sure that they leaked this out to Sports Illustrated, ESPN. This shows you that WWE looks at Jade Cargill like a massive top superstar. They're going to catapult Jade Cargill. And I've always been high on Jade Cargill, but I've been the first to say that Jade Cargill is more suited for a WWE. So if you're an AEW fan, this is a massive loss, but she was never really suited for what your organization was based upon. So they're going to try to fill that void with Mercedes Moné, for instance, Sasha Banks. And you guys know how I feel about Sasha. I feel she's just the best women's wrestler on the planet because she just checks every box. Believable, enjoyable, and she's captivating. But Jade Cargill is a different type of box to fill that void. So you can't really compare them in so many aspects. So Sasha will come in, but it's not to fill a void of Jade Cargill. It's to be the first ever Sasha Banks in AEW, the first ever Mercedes Moné, and she's going to crush it. But over in WWE, Jade Cargill was better suited for that organization. I said the same thing about CM Punk. CM Punk is better suited for WWE. First of all, he just needs that structure, right? The star that he is and has been, with the ego that he carries around. WWE is just the place for him, and he knows that. You put him in an atmosphere like AEW, and he doesn't even know what to do with himself. You put him in a place like WWE, and he's much more structured. As much as he wasn't happy toward the tail end of his WWE run. You haven't seen the last of Punk in WWE. I'm telling you guys that. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to want it. I hear you. I'm not the biggest Punk fan. I'll be the first to say, though, Punk going back to WWE to finish his career makes a lot of sense right now. A lot of sense. And starting it off in Chicago, Survivor Series makes a lot of sense. Jade Cargill's one of those people. She just belongs in WWE. And if you're an AEW fan, I think you even realize that. You just look at her. It's a Vincent Kennedy, even a Paul Levesque McMahon masterpiece. She just belongs there. And Jade knows that. She wants all the opportunities that come with that stardom in a place that's already established that can give her that. The TV shows, the movies, the magazine covers, all of it. Jade knows that. Toward the end of Jade even holding the TBS championship, you could tell she wasn't the happiest and she wanted to move on to be with her good buddy, Cody Rhodes. I think the moment Cody left, the hamster started spinning upstairs, right? The wheels started going in the dome piece, and Jade Cargill was already thinking, is the grass greener on the other side? We're all going to find out. But that's a true story. It is broken by WWE, ESPN, Sports Illustrated. I'll read a complete article right now from ESPN, one of the first people to break this. Let me get a swig of coffee. We're going to go over this. A big show in the pro wrestling world has been canceled, by the way. A lot of you guys watch this wrestling show. I know, it is canceled. It's unfortunate. I even watched it from time to time. I'm going to talk about that show that just got canceled. We'll talk about Jade Cargill. We'll talk about Raw. There's a lot to get to. Let me get a swig of coffee. Lock in those earbuds. Smash that up. Show that love to the channel. I appreciate it. And the biggest thing after you grab your coffees is let's get amplified. Salute. So this article from ESPN, one of the main sources that broke this massive signing by WWE, and we'll get to the Raw review in just a few minutes. I had to pull something out of nothing with this show. You'll see what I mean when we get to it. And we're also going to talk about a big wrestling show that unfortunately was canceled. We'll get to all that coming up. But this article, just to put an exclamation point on this whole Jade Cargill breaking news. This is from Mark Raimondi, a lead staff writer for ESPN who covered and broke this news, Jade Cargill to WWE. And I quote, Jade Cargill, a rising star in professional wrestling and former champion in All Elite Wrestling, AEW, has officially signed with the WWE. Promotion officials have told ESPN. So again, this was leaked by WWE to ESPN and Sports Illustrated. They wanted this to be a big deal. Move over Venus Williams. Move over Dak Prescott. Move over Tiger Woods. Move over LeBron James. Jade Cargill is taking over ESPN and Sports Illustrated. That's how high they see. That is how high they see or look at Jade Cargill, this company. So, this ESPN article goes on to say Cargill, who was AEW's longest reigning TBS champion and appeared on AEW television as recently as 2 weeks ago. I believe she lost to like Statlander. She came back, did a job, so she went out the right way, and then she took off. She will start with the WWE on Tuesday morning at its Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. So by the time you guys catch this podcast, she's actually in the ring right now taking bumps in a WWE ring. How wild is that to think? It remains unclear if Cargill will go straight to WWE's main roster or if she will perform at its developmental brand there in Orlando, labeled NXT. Cargill, who is 31, has been wrestling professionally for only 2 years. Her in-ring debut came in AEW as part of a high-profile mixed tag team match, March 2021. She teamed with NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal against Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet. Rhodes, one of Cargill's mentors at his Nightmare Factory in Georgia, signed with the WWE last year after helping found AEW in 2019 and went to headline WrestleMania 39. I told you guys, man, in that cold open teaser, one of the closest confidants, one of the closest friends to Jade Cargill is Cody Rhodes. Yeah, one of the mentors in the Nightmare Factory. I didn't even mention that. This shows you gotta wonder, did Cody Rhodes pave this path? I'm not saying that Jade was not already kind of built for WWE, that she wasn't at least thinking about WWE, because she knows the presence she could have there. She knows she's built for that company. But you gotta wonder, how much influence, how much talking did Cody Rhodes do to a Vincent Kennedy or a Paul Levesque McMahon? You gotta believe that Cody Rhodes had a little bit of influence on this decision, man. You got to believe, just like I said, careful with Ricky Starks, Tony Khan, because Ricky Starks could be in WWE the moment his contract is up if Tony Khan isn't careful, because Cody has certain people in AEW that he would love to be placed in WWE, and he has that kind of stroke. Cody has that, man. It's interesting, right? They play that little storyline where he was the one to get Jay over on Raw. Well, IRL, he can actually get people from AEW over to WWE. I think Jade Cargill going to WWE was massively influenced by Cody. Anyway, to put an exclamation point on this article, it goes on to say that Cargill was the first AEW TBS champion and held the title from January 5th, 2022 to May 28th, 2023. A span of 508 days, Cargill held that TBS championship. 508 days over the course of 2 separate years. The Florida native is considered a major future star in pro wrestling and beyond. The 5'10" Cargill was a fitness model before wrestling and has nearly 1 million Insta followers. She played Division I basketball at Jacksonville University. Her partner is former Cincinnati Reds player Brandon Phillips. Cargill and Phillips are now owners of a women's professional fast pitch WPF team, the Texas Smoke. So BC just learned something there, man. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that article by Mark Raimondi of ESPN. If you didn't know a lot about Cargill, that's pretty much a nice summary that even BC just learned. She has a team, the Texas Smoke. All right, so she's an ambitious female, man. I mean, this is one of those people that just doesn't take a minute off of the day. There's not enough hours in the day. And WWE will fill that day with an enormous schedule, so she's in good hands with World Wrestling Entertainment. Let me know how you guys feel about this, man. Is this massive to you? Or is this the best fit for her? Let me know, man. Sound off down below. Jade Cargill is officially in WWE. WWE's confirmation as well also stated that she has reported to Orlando, Florida as of this morning. So WWE, obviously, they leaked this. So of course they're going to be in conjunction with exactly what we're hearing. We'll go over to a show that was just canceled, guys, and we'll get to the Raw review, another swig of coffee. So, a big wrestling show. A lot of you guys watched. A lot of you guys said, BC, if you don't watch this show, you gotta watch it. It's so good. What are your thoughts on it? It's a show on Stars. You know, it's like an HBO, Showtime, Cinemax. It's called Stars is the channel. It's one of those paid for channels. You gotta pay a little extra to your cable provider and you get these channels. Well, they made a massive gamble on a show called Heels. It starred Stephen Amell, I believe his name is. He's a big-time wrestling fan. He has a lot of wrestlers as friends. One of his closest friends, again, this name keeps popping up, right? Cody Rhodes is one of his closest friends. And again, he's a big wrestling fan anyway, so this was like a passion project for Stephen Amell, this Heels concept. And he played this character, Jack, and he has this brother, and they're both running this little independent promotion down south. I believe it's down south. I forgot what it's called too. I just haven't seen enough of it to remember every character and exactly what the promotion was called. But it's a good show from what I've seen, and a lot of you guys really enjoyed the work. CM Punk was a guest star on it several times, including his wife, AJ Lee Mendez Brooks. I don't know what she's going by. Much love to AJ Lee, by the way. But she has a lot of last names, or at least could. But she was a star on that show, too. I actually caught a clip of her and one of the stars on the show, a female, and they were having a match. And so CM Punk, AJ Lee were on this show. It was good. And a lot of you guys really enjoyed it, watched every show, and didn't miss an episode. Unfortunately, Stars didn't feel there was enough viewership, and that's just a victim of where WWE, or pro wrestling, not just WWE, pro wrestling is today. And that's just going backwards, viewership-wise. It doesn't matter if it's a Raw, SmackDown, a Dynamite, a Collision, a Rampage. Some weeks it'll go a little bit up, but then it's right backwards, and by a lot. Viewership is just not there. Pro wrestling needs to find a way to captivate viewers to watch live on their big screens again. Like the NFL, for a couple of years, NFL went a little bit backwards. They changed some things up. It got really interesting and fun again, and now they're up 13% over the last 2 years. That's a lot. Pro wrestling needs to do that. You know, it's not just about cord cutting or streaming service or people watching the next day from highlights or delayed viewing, right? I think TBS just touted that, right? TNT, TBS, Turner Networks, they just touted a Grand Slam from last week. They said it was viewed by 2.8 million viewers. No, it wasn't. It was viewed by under 1 million. It was like 980 some odd. It was up from their 878 or 887 some odd the week before, but what they're doing is they're probably adding in all the delayed viewers, all the DVRs, all the streaming metrics even, because even if you allowed delayed viewing and DVR numbers, you're still not hitting 2.8. And interestingly, Turner Network, they never gave us how they broke down the 2.8. They never gave us that. So that tells you they're adding just any which thing, and you can't do that because a lot of fans will watch something 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times. And you're just going to count it from 10 different people? You can't do that. But they're touting 2.8 million viewers, which would, in effect, if somebody sees that, they're going to think it topped the top wrestling show right now, whether you like it or not. I totally understand. But ratings-wise, it's a show called SmackDown on Friday nights. They pull anywhere from 2 to 2.2, 2.3 to about 2.5, 2.6 on a good night. So that 2.8, what they're telling you is AEW just beat out WWE SmackDown. That's not true. The best way to put it is you're basically making up a number and you can't even dissect it. There's no way to break said number apart, right? and it's so misconstrued. There's so many layers to it. Don't change the rules of what the ratings always were. The whole point is who's watching live on their big screen. Did you captivate an audience enough to need to tune in live? Of course, you can always watch later, 2, 3 days down the line. You can always watch highlights somewhere. That's always been the case. Who's watching live? That's what the ratings tell us, and that's why they're so important. Don't just change the numbers. Don't make up this wild total that you can't even account for it. You can't even say that this many people truly watch. You don't know how many are duplicates, triplicates, quadruplicates, and so on. Oh, man, I tell you, Turner Networks, according to them, they just defeated all of WWE shows this past week. Okay. Anyway, heels is a victim of the wrestling business kind of going backwards. If the wrestling business was truly booming, heels would have been picked up for another season. But I know a lot of you guys watch this wrestling show on Stars, and it's unfortunate to get that news. Because again, if I ever had time to actually watch the TV and I was flicking through and I see heels, I would absolutely tune in for a few minutes, and it always was captivating. If I only had 2 minutes, I would spend 6, 7 minutes watching it, and that would just push me back and make me late for whatever I'm going to do. But it was that good, I felt. And it sucks to see a show like that not pull in the viewership. And Stars was like, it's no longer worth putting up the money. The viewers are not, it's not weighing out. We're losing a lot and we don't have enough positive from it, you know, and it's going to start going into the negative. It's actually going to put us in a hole financially. So Stars pulled the plug on it. So to Stephen Amell, to production, to Stars for even giving this the green light and putting a spotlight on wrestling in a different facet, I appreciate you guys all, man, for at least the chance, right? And I'm sure Steven would say the same thing as well. Heels, man. If you never saw it, check it out. And if I ever have the time, I'll check full episodes, man. I truly feel it was that good whenever I caught it. So to Heels, man, it sucks to see that get canceled. All right, another swig of coffee, and it's time for the Raw review. I've been trying to hold off on this, guys. I tried. You know, we could only stall for so long. Eventually, we had to get to this review. This is Raw for the 25th of September. We're going to cover this from top to bottom, beginning to end, start to finish right now. And a big salute to my amplified unit from the red team. Go to the gold unit channel members. Much love and respect to each and every one of you guys for smashing that up and showing the love to the channel. Hopefully you guys are Hopefully I'm entertaining you guys, but at the same time, I hope we're dropping a lot of facts and you guys are finding the content interesting, man. I appreciate you guys big time. Let's get to this Raw review, man. The first 15 minutes of this show is the Judgment Day having words and brawling with Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. If that sounds familiar, it's because I just described every Monday Night Raw for the last 5 months. The Judgment Day having words with Cody, Sami, and KO. And brawling with Sami, KO, and Cody. And having matches with KO and Sami and Cody. Every week in some variation for 5 months. And that's exactly how we started this show. And it's how we ended the show too. Wait till we get to that. All we did was we added a Jason Uso and a JD McDonuts. For the faces, we threw an Uso. To the heels, to Judgment Day, we threw some donuts. McDonuts. That's the only difference. So now we're just adding people, right? Because it's clear, and it's even more vividly clear at the end of this show, and we'll get to it, but I'll give you a little teaser right now if you didn't see the show. We're leading toward 8-man tags now. Because you already saw so many one-on-ones with all these individuals. A plethora of 2-on-2s. I don't know how many times you've seen Sami Zayn and KO versus the Judgment Day, but in some variation, it's been 15 or 16 times already. We put up an upload before Raw when we found out that this match was going on last night. And I told you guys that the statistics are staggering. We get this match basically every week. Or these same individuals. And I told you guys, that's not a storyline. That's just the same people bickering and brawling and having matches every week. That's not a story. We've already seen them brawl so many times. So now what they're doing is they're just going to add more people. Now you're going to get the 8-man tags. That's what you know, that's what this is going to. And if you didn't see the ending, oh, it's vividly clear. They're leading toward an 8-man. So you're going to get more Sami and KO and Cody versus Judgment Day. You're just going to add donuts and you're going to add an Uso. If CM Punk came to WWE and went to Raw, CM Punk would be aligned with Cody, Uso, Zayn, and Owens. And then they would just find somebody for the heels, the Judgment Day. Gunther, come over here. We need you for a few weeks, months, to face all the faces. And Gunther's like, but I'm with Imperium. Well, you're with the Judgment Day now. You're a tack on for a couple months. And we'll do a 10-man tag. You could bring over Sting. It's Sting! To WWE. Sting would be aligned with all the faces, and they'd have to find somebody else for the heels, right? Give me Bobby Lashley. Where's my doofus son-in-law? You're supposed to be running this show. I was told you're remotely running it, Vince. I was waiting for you to remotely run it. Are you that much of a doofus? Give me Bobby Lashley. But he's on SmackDown, sir. Bobby Lashley will come over to Raw just to make this a 12-man tag. It won't end. They just add. They don't want to get creative. That's why I can't stand factions in pro wrestling, or at least WWE these days. Because you know damn well a faction just means the lead star. Whenever he has a feud, the guy they're facing is just going to have to go through all of the people in the group, right? So if a Tomasso has a problem with Gunther, he's got to have a match with Giovanni. Then he's going to have a match with Keiser. And then he's going to have a tag match. He's going to get a tag partner and he's going to face Giovanni and Keiser. And you're just going to play this game nonstop. If somebody has a problem with Bob Lashley, they're going to have to go through Ford and then Montez and then get a tag team partner and go through Montez and Ford in a tag match. And then probably take on Bobby Lashley 4 times just to get to the pay-per-view where we'll get the same match for the 5th time. You want to get to Roman Reigns? First you got to go through Jimmy Uso, then Jey Uso. Not anymore, Jay's over on Raw, but for the longest time you had to go through Jimmy, and then Jay, and then Solo, and then a tag team match with the Usos, and then a 6-man tag with Solo, and then you might get to Roman. You want to go to the Judgment Day, you got to go through everybody. It's Balor, then you're going to face Damian, then you're going to face Dominic, then you're going to repeat the process. Factions are no longer fun because it's the same rinse and repeat process. The same regurgitated repetitiveness. It's not fun. Change it up. Factions used to be fun when they were dominating and they felt like a real badass group. Judgment Day had potential. Judgment Day sucks today. You guys, I'm going to give you some hot takes today. I'm going to give you a bunch probably. Because I'm just, this show is absolutely that bad. Somebody finally has to be fucking honest in this community. Somebody has to just tell it like it is. So hopefully this will get better. Because this show truly sucks. And we love professional wrestling. We most of us anyway love WWE. It's what got us into pro wrestling. So we want to see WWE get better. We want pro wrestling to be better. This show sucks. So you can call them hot takes. I just call them fact bombs, truth bombs, and they're being set off. Judgment Day sucks. They're beyond stale. They take up 27 segments on a 12-segment show. Do the math. Do your Steiner math. They're basically all over the show, beyond overexposed, and they're in nothing meaningful ever. They're 50-50 booked to a nauseating amplified level and degree. In other words, you'll see them come out, talk a big game, and then they're flat on their asses by the faces, retreating. Then later in the main event, they're winning the main event. The next week, they're losing the main event, running away with their hands over their heads. They're beat up. Then the next Monday, they're talking shit again, and they're badass. You don't know what they are. You don't know what they are. You're like, I'm not comparing them to the NWO, for instance, but at least the NWO, man, every week they came out, you knew WCW was in trouble. Judgment Day comes out, and you're like, oh, here we go. What do you got to say? You got like 60 seconds, and the faces are going to whoop your ass. And it doesn't matter if you add on some donuts. Factions, Judgment Day, it's overused, and it sucks. And then this is coming from somebody who believes that you need factions. You need factions, man, like the Authority, like an NWO, a DX. No, the Nation of Domination. Anybody remember them? They're fun, but just do them correctly. Have fun with it so that we can enjoy it. Judgment Day is beyond stale. And when it's all said and done, I'll cover this more in the main event. It's leading to just more matches with Zayn and Owens in the Judgment Day. And now you're just tacking on Cody again. And we've already seen 6-man tags with the Judgment Day and Cody. So you're just going to see that again. The only difference is you're going to add an Uso and a McDonuts. And that's supposed to sell us for the next several weeks going through Fastlane. You're probably going to get that match at Fastlane and then a bunch of Raws afterwards. That's how we started and ended the show. But that's the start of it. And you already see where they're going. They're all brawling, and you're going to get the same thing that we started the show, all 8 men brawling at the end of the show. First matchup of the night, Otis versus Bronson Reed. So commentary, this is Otis and Bronson Reed. Commentary cannot stop cracking up. They're not taking this match seriously. They're just seeing 2 big dudes in there, and it's just funny to them, right? Can't even say I blame them at this point. Michael Cole says, this is a quote from Michael Cole. Again, this is Otis and Bronson Reed, one-on-one. And Michael Cole says, they collided like 2 big male buffalo. What the fuck are we doing? What in the world is... I'm going to give you that quote again. I did not misconstrue any words. This is what Michael Cole said. They collided like 2 big male buffalo. And then they instantly start cracking up. Wade Barrett literally says, this is a quote right after. Wade Barrett says, male buffalo? Like, what words just came out of your mouth? Wade Barrett's like, male buffalo? That's the best you came up with Otis? And so Michael Cole and Wade just start cracking up. And they basically are laughing throughout the rest of the match. And they both just start laughing. These are 2 good wrestlers, by the way. Otis and Bronson are 2 really good wrestlers to watch with actual talent. I understand they're bigger, but they have some talent, man. Otis was a star in the making until he got yanked back. They gave him a couple feet, and then they took him back a couple miles. And Bronson, for his size, I've never been a big Bronson Reed fan, but there's immense talent and skill with this dude. So really, 2 really good wrestlers to watch with actual talent, but commentary just made this about 2 overweight dudes waddling around the ring like wild buffalo. That's all commentary did. They just made this match about two big dudes, two overweight dudes, waddling around the ring like wild buffalo. Commentary did that, so how is the fans at home supposed to take this any differently? And it was only 5 minutes anyway. This match didn't even go long. Not that you need a long match for something to be good, but you didn't even utilize them at all. And you just told the story of two wild buffalo, two big male buffalo, was the exact quote, colliding. Bronson defeats Otis via pinfall. Again, less than 5 minutes is in my notes. And that was off of his tsunami splash finisher. So Otis, even though he's a big wild buffalo, a wild male big buffalo, he was also squashed by a bigger buffalo who created a tsunami. You're not making this up. This is Monday Night Raw, so this is the first half an hour of the show. Then Tomasso Ciampa defeats Ludwig Keiser via pinfall off a knee to the dome piece. He then tells Gunther he's taking his Goldie. In NXT, he called that title his Goldie, so now he says he's in search of a new Goldie. And he tells Gunther, who Gunther was watching angrily backstage with the tilted TV, you know, because that's realistic. That's how you watch TV, right? You get your new TV from Costco, you set it up at home, you diagonal it, you set it sideways, and then you watch like this, right? You watch TV like this, and it's like that. That's realistic. So the camera can get you watching TV. So stupid. Anyway, Gunther's angrily watching as Ludwig loses. A little friction with Giovanni, who kind of interfered, but it ended up hurting Ludwig, and that's how Tomasso scored the W. So backstage, Ludwig is pissed off at Giovanni. Gunther says, from now on, Giovanni is your problem. So if he's a problem, you're a problem, and everything's a problem. Is there a problem? Ludwig's like, no problem. I don't know. So now there's friction within Imperium. It looks like, I mean, we all appreciate Tomasso. Right? Tomasso is a really talented individual. We know what he did in NXT. We know what he's capable of still to this day. He's a little bit older and a little bit more brittle now. Some ailments, some injuries recently. But we all enjoy his work and we want the best booking for him. Is he the best one to take the title off of Gunther? Man, good booking doesn't mean just getting a title. Gunther is the longest reigning IC champion. Gunther has just an immaculate reign. He's an immaculate wrestler. I know some AMP unit members, like I believe JR9 Gaming said this many times, people like Dragunov, who I feel you have to call him up soon then if he's going to get the title, because that would take a few months, get him acquainted with the casual fans, and then Dragunov can get the championship. But somebody like Dragunov, I would pick before Tomasso. And again, I still want good booking for Tomasso, and in the future, titles for sure. But to end Gunther's reign, I feel we have to do bigger than that. Dragunov doing that, for instance, yeah, that's pretty dominant, man. Or somebody in that way. I just don't feel like Tomasso's in the position to take a IC title off of Gunther. Like, build him up first, right? Really get the crowd behind him. Winning a title doesn't do that, right? We've seen that many times. This company just throws titles on people and thinks that's the easy fix. Easy peasy. They're going to get a reaction now. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you guys would be like, no, BC, Tomasso, IC title. All right. And then what? I mean, is that really captivating? Tomasso's walking around with an IC title. You think his booking's going to be better? How many times you see somebody with a championship and it does nothing for them? It actually weighs them down. It's like an anchor. Rhea Ripley ring a bell? Sethington and his damn U.S. championship? Sethington now with this freaking this secondary participation trophy world championship. Tag titles. Every tag title just weighs these individuals down. You could go on and on. Anyway, I don't know. This is a weird scenario. Do you guys have Tomasso get the title or not? I'm on the fence with it. It's not going to be a horrible decision. Of course, it's deserving. I don't like that word, but of course, Tomasso winning a title, it's more than believable, and I'm okay with it. I just don't think that would be my first option. It wouldn't be. Becky Lynch is on commentary up next. This ends hour number 1, this next matchup. Becky Lynch on commentary for Nattie and her booyaka booyakas. The breast there is, the breast there was, and the breast there ever will be. Nattie Neidhart taking on Tegan Nox. If you guys don't know why this match is happening, last week it was a big deal. Tegan was supposed to take on, I'm taking you guys behind the curtain a little bit. You might not have known this, but Tegan was supposed to take on Becky last week for the open challenge. And last second, they just said, you know what? Nattie gained a lot of praise for the work she did in India, I guess, and recently. So they said, no, we're going to give Nattie the TV time, and they chose to go Nattie over Tegan. Last second, we heard reports that like Tegan was actually in Gorilla. That's how last second it was. And Becky confirmed that, though. There was a backstage promo before this match, and Becky actually said, man, I thought it was going to be you. I even saw you at Gorilla before I went out to declare the open challenge. I saw you at the curtain. So Becky confirmed those reports. But anyway, they went with Nattie last week. It became a big story, and this is WWE. Like, all right, as long as it's in the headlines, let's use it. So Tegan Nox versus Nattie. Now, as much as we respect Nattie and Tegan Nox, we want the best for them. I don't know how interesting this was for people, man. For BC, it was like, what? This is the women's match we're getting? Nattie and Tegan? What do we... you didn't even have to worry, man. It was not very long anyway, but it's just a weird match. Nattie and Tegan. And what's even weirder, listen to this, man. Michael Cole says, this is what gets me about this company. It just baffles me. Because they even think before they speak? Listen to what Michael Cole said before this Nattie Tegan match. So Michael Cole says both of these ladies are looking for an opportunity to face Becky Lynch for the NXT title. Oh my. I'm going to repeat that. Nattie is looking at Tegan now. They're in the ring. And Becky's on commentary. And Michael Cole says both of these ladies, Tegan and Nattie, are looking for an opportunity to take on Becky Lynch for that NXT title. Hold on! What are you saying? Are you thinking? Number one, Nattie just had that opportunity last week. She took the open challenge. It was a title match. Nattie could not even get the NXT title. So what do you mean Nattie is looking for an opportunity to take on the NXT champion? Why would Nattie be looking to take the NXT title? But she just had it last week and lost. Number two, guys, secondly, that's mind-boggling. Why are all of these women going for an NXT title, period? Why? What do you mean these two ladies are looking for an NXT? This isn't NXT. This is the main roster. Isn't there a separate main roster women's champion? Isn't there two of them? Like Raw has a women's champion and SmackDown, I thought. Right? Rhea Ripley is one and Io is one. Where's Rhea Ripley? Storyline-wise, she was injured by Nia. In reality, she just requested time off way in advance. Good for her. Have some good vacations, go to some weddings, enjoy some TV time. I get it. Do things with fiance Buddy Matthews. Cool. But she's requesting this time off as champion. And because of that, there's a massive void on Raw for the ladies. So they're doing the same thing they did with Sethington when Roman was holding both championships. They made it seem like the U.S. title was the world title, and every Monday Night Raw, I was in the main event. Problem is, nobody cared about Seth. This was before the sing-along, right? If you get a song that's catchy and people can sing with, you're going to get over. That's what Seth finally realized. Before that, he was holding the U.S. title. Nobody cared about it because he was just taking on Austin Theory every week, or a Bob Lashley, or a triple threat. Same main event every week, until they got to Sami and Owen versus Judgment Day every week, right? They found the replacement for Theory and Sethington and Lashley. But nobody was looking at that U.S. title like it was something special to the level of a world title. We knew Roman had it and wasn't showing up. So the Women's Championship is basically off of Raw. So they're making it look like Becky's NXT title is their title that every lady is now fighting for. And Becky Lynch is spewing the smelliest of garbage on commentary. And this is no disrespect to Becky, but because she has to do this. It's what she's told to push, the narrative on commentary. But she's saying, and I quote, "I want to elevate the entire women's division with this title." She says, "I'm going to be a fighting champion, and I'm going to help all the ladies that don't have opportunities." Isn't that what NXT is about? Isn't that what the NXT title is about? Isn't that what Tiffany Stratton was doing and the Rock sees? Isn't that what they're all doing over there? You took the title and you ran over to WWE's main roster, and now all of a sudden Michael Cole is saying the whole roster is fighting for the NXT title. Nattie Neidhart, it needs to be elevated? Nattie hasn't gotten opportunities in the last 10 years? Is that what you're saying, Becky? Because that's what you said. At some point, you got to look back. It's not just, oh, the negative guy on YouTube. He's the negative podcaster. I want the bare minimum of things to make sense. The bare minimum, right? And then I'll suspend everything else, the disbelief and the belief, and I'll enter the wacky world that you're trying to push narrative-wise. I'll do it. I'll meet you halfway. I'll meet you even before halfway. But give me a little something to cling on to in the form of common sense and logic. That's all we're asking for. Give us a little bit of logic and common sense that can make this spark a semblance of believability, any semblance of realism. Make it make sense, just a fraction, and we'll take it the rest of the way. But none of this makes sense. She takes Tiffany Stratton's championship. I wasn't that hard on that decision until now. And then I'm like, well, what are you doing? This was just to fill the void of Rhea Ripley and her championship not being on Raw. You took the women's championship from NXT for this? And it makes everybody look like an idiot. The whole women's locker room, as if they didn't before. Piper Niven goes in and claims herself a tag team champion. Where was the rest of the roster? Nobody else wanted that opportunity. When they do open challenges, nobody else wants to show up to take that open challenge? In this situation, everybody's lining up to get an NXT title? Doesn't make... I have no idea. No, you can't even, man. Nox defeats Nattie via pinfall off the shiniest of Wizards finisher. And that's how our number one ends. So, and it didn't end quick enough. That's all I'll say about it. It comes to an end, but it didn't end quick enough. Our number two, Sethington Rollins. Oh, wait till you hear this. So Sethington Rollins starts hour two. If the Kool-Aid man lost a cup of 200-300 pounds, he'd be Sethington last night. If you saw this dude's outfit, if you saw this dude, this is beyond just raiding Becky Lynch's closet now. This dude's way. He's got the matching red glasses. It was a bunch of shades of wrong. I don't even know if all the red matched or not. I don't know, man. But that was like the Kool-Aid man that went on the Atkins diet. Or has been hitting the treadmill a lot more lately. That was Sethington last night. We see a 46-minute video package of Shinsuke Nakamura accepting Rollins' challenge, and it'll be a last man standing match. It was a long video package just to say, I accept last man standing. And then another 46 minutes for Rollins to accept Nakamura's challenge of a last man standing match, which stemmed from Rollins' initial challenge. So, in other words, it took Shinsuke weeks just to say yes to a title match. Think about that. It's a championship match, and you don't want it. And we finally hear him say yes, and then Sethington just takes another 5 minutes just to say, yes, I accept your last man standing match concept challenge. So that was we waited to the second hour to get riveting television. Riveting. That's how it ended. Sethington was just finally all right, last man standing. Thank goodness we're seeing another whole month of Shinsuke and Sethington. This is riveting television. Said nobody ever. Dominic Mysterio then defeats Dragon Lee to retain his NXT title. That's it. That's my notes. I'm not going to play this game where I'm like, but Dragon Lee looked amazing. Dragon Lee's amazing. Dragon Lee is such a good wrestler. Dragon Lee is going to be the next Rey Mysterio. Dragon Lee has so much talent. Dragon Lee has so much skill. All of that true, by the way. Check, check, check. I get it. So what? Dragon Lee's not going to captivate me. Dragon Lee is not the answer to Monday Night Raw being in the shitter. What are we going to get? Some good wrestling matches with Dragon Lee? Yay! No, I'm not going to play this charade in the wrestling community where every time we get a good wrestler, we go, wow, this is amazing. It's Dragon Lee. We don't need more good wrestling matches. We have enough. Everybody is a great wrestler these days. They start practicing on their damn trampoline in the backyard from the age of fucking 5. They're bouncing around a real wrestling ring by the age of fucking 14. Flips and dives and moonsaults and 640 Hancher Kaplancha Canadian Destroyer splashes. We need characters that are larger than life. If you put Dragon Lee in badass stories, I'll start to give a shit. No. BC's not gonna fucking praise this match. It was so good. Wrestling and the sequences. And Dominic did so good elevating Dragon. And Dragon's gonna be a massive star. Yeah, we said that about Ali. We said that about Ricochet. We said it about everybody you could fucking think of. Especially that comes up from NXT. Everybody's an amazing wrestler. The next Rey Mysterio. They can't even book Rey Mysterio correctly. With or without a title, Rey Mysterio could be fucking off for the next 6 months and you wouldn't even realize it. Told you, we're just dropping truth, man. Monday Night Raw's in the shitter. Dragon Lee's on the main roster now. Wow, that did it. Well, fucking Raw's gonna get 2.5 in the rating now. Dragon Lee's gonna bring another million and a half. We're gonna get more great wrestling. Nia Jax defeats Zoey Stark. Zoey split all this with Trish Stratus and Becky. This whole thing. And she breaks away from Trish Stratus. You think she's in this tag team now. She gains the respect of Shayna Baszler, and she just gets squashed every week since by Nia, and this was just one-on-one, squashed by Nia. Boom. Okay, thank you, Zoey. Give us every reason imaginable not to care about Zoey. And Nia Jax continues to squash the entire roster, so it's just leading up to Jade Cargill finally taking her out. Is it going to be Rhea Ripley versus Nia? 2 heels, by the way. So you're just going to have to boo one or the other? Is this a way where Rhea gets cheered more? Wow, man. Whoa. Nia Jax squashing the entire women's roster. Exactly how you would book it, right? Jey Uso backstage. This is probably the best part of Raw. Jey Uso backstage. He just says he's not joining any emo bands. That's all he said. In other words, Judgment Day. But he says, I'm not joining any emo bands. Come on. Yeah, now you know Judgment Day. If they were a bunch of fucking teeny boppers, right? A younger Judgment Day, you know damn well they'd be hanging out at Hot Topic at the mall, waiting for their parents to pick them up from said mall. Hot Topic, Spencer's, you know those stores in the mall. That's the Judgment Day, bro. You know that. So this was funny. You got this fucking Oos. Who this fucking emo group wants fucking Uso to join them. I'm not joining any emo bands, he says, man. I just think about all my 80s Coke rock bands, man. Too funny. Best part of Raw easily. Miz TV is next. I think this starts hour number 3. Miz TV with Drew McIntyre as the guest. Somehow this turns into a random Drew Mac versus Kofi Kingston. Somehow this turns into the most random of matches. Kingston and Xavier come down the aisle because they're pissed off at Drew for not helping Jey Uso last week. Why would you care so much? Now, it makes a little bit of sense because they have a little bit of a riff, so it's almost like they were just looking for an excuse just to throw some jabs over at Drew. Okay, I can allow that. The Vikings cause a distraction, or at least 2/3, Ibar and Sarah Logan, what's her name now? Van Halen, one of my favorite bands, by the way. Not emo. 2/3 of the Vikings come out, cause a distraction, and Drew capitalizes with a Claymore. It was not a party. It was only one Claymore. Only one person showed up to the party. A Claymore. And it took out, Coffee Kingston. And then post-match, Kingston was crushed by said Vikings. Literally crushed. Like, Ivar goes up to the top and does a devastating, crushing moonsault. And McIntyre didn't even turn around to save Coffee Kingston. So, the new thing for Drew, I guess this is the heel turn. This is what I mean. See, this could have all been avoided with Drew if you just made the right call from the jump. When Drew came back, he should have came right for Seth Rollins' championship and turned heel. Right in, what was it, London, somewhere in the UK, somewhere. But it would have made the most sense. Instead, they had him come back right into the place where he left WWE around WrestleMania, the mid-card title with Gunther. And when he came back a couple months later, it was right to the same thing, and he ended up losing. So here we are, the end of September, and we're starting to finally see the heel turn? After you hook him up, you wanted him to do the Randy Orton role and link him up with Matthew Riddle, Scooter Stevenson, Nail Polish Nelson, Flip Flops Flanagan. And when Flanagan ended up being released and fired, now all of a sudden you're going to push Drew like he should have been. This company, if they just did it correctly from the jump, we wouldn't have a lot of the problems that arise with the company, with these individuals. Just takes thought, effort, think before you do. Anyway, Kingston crushed. McIntyre says, who cares? You're not my friend. Main event, Owens and Zayn versus Balor and Priest. Same main event every week. Always! Dominic, McDonuts, Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, they're all involved in this tag match, especially late. Priest ends up pinning Zayn after McDonuts slams a title belt right in Zayn schnoz. Right in the foss. In the foss. Title belt into the foss of Sami Zayn. And Priest is able to cover Zayn, and Judgment Day keeps the tag titles. There was nothing of relevance here. Nothing to really talk about. And then after the match, all 8 dudes start to brawl, just like the beginning of the show. And just like we've been seeing every week. Again, the only difference is you added an Uso and some donuts. That's it. The only thing that changed is they added 2 more puzzle pieces. And this is what I always said for 16 weeks now. They're just moving around puzzle pieces with the same dudes, and this is why the ratings are going backwards and fans are not having fun with this. How many times can you see the same thing over and over and still call it fun and intriguing? It's not. And if you think adding an Uso and some donuts to this match is going to be like, oh man, I can't wait for this 8-man because, could it be? Could it be? This is leading to an 8-man tag. An 8-man tag for Fastlane. And you're probably going to see these same 8 dudes on Raw several times. And then we'll go back to a 6-man. And then some more tag teams. But these 8 dudes will continue to do this through the holidays. They have nothing planned elsewhere with these dudes. Nothing. They created a faction just to take up the rest of 2023's time. Sadly, at this point, I can't wait for Judgment Day just to disassemble so we can start to get some innovative television. Because this is really bad. And if you thought it was the end of Zayn and Owens and Judgment Day, nope. It's literally, it just doesn't end. Now they're just adding more people and you're going to see more multi-person schmaz matches. It's what's happening. I want to give that was the end of the show, by the way. They just brawled. It was the same. The ending was the same as 3 hours earlier. All 8 dudes were brawling at the beginning of the show. You could have saved yourself 3 hours of time because all 8 dudes did the same exact thing at the end of the show. And that was it. Awesome. Great. I want to give a big shout out over to, and hopefully I can get this up on the big screen too, but Clutch City Fan for that 5-spot super thanks coffee. The super thanks down below. There was 2 uploads yesterday. I got to find the... it's Clutch City Fan with that 5 spot. BC just stopping by, sending you some coffees. Being a limo driver for a month now, I understand why you drink a lot of coffee. Keeps you rocking, brother. Anyways, don't understand why WWE can't be more creative. I'll be honest, I don't watch Raw. Haven't watched since SummerSlam. It baffles me how they don't give a damn about what they put on TV. Anyways, take care. Let's get amplified. Red team, go! Clutch City Fan. They don't care about getting creative because right now they're still cashing in. Right? This whole sale, they're doing the TV rights deals, which they left $200 million on the table. They can't be happy about that. Now they're really going to be looking for the biggest lump sum for Monday Night Raw. But they're just cashing in right now. It's all literally that side of the business. Once that dries up and the fans are the only thing they have left to get every penny, because right now, for years, they've been solely looking at the conglomerates. Saudi Arabia giving them hundreds of millions of dollars. Conglomerate companies like Comcast and Fox giving them billion-dollar deals. But when that dries up and they're not getting that type of money anymore, which already started, Fox said no. They were looking for well over $300 million with Comcast, and they got $287 a year for 5. Still a lot of money, but they left a lot on the table. They're starting to say no to WWE. I told you guys this was going to happen. And sure enough, when that well dries up and we're all they have left, then they'll start caring about the product again. Just hope it's not too late, and I hope it's not that long from now, man, because we need a better product yesterday, last week, last month, last year, 10 years ago. Clutch City Fan, I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate the coffee. And if I missed any others too, I can't get... There's been a bunch of uploads this week, so I can't get to all of them right now. But if there was any other ones, I've been trying to keep up on all the super thankses. If I missed anybody, salute. I appreciate the coffees. It's never needed. Always appreciated. But to every single one of you guys, man, we're kicking off a whole nother week. We kicked it off the right way yesterday. This podcast was ultra amplified, and we're nowhere near done. So make sure you're glued to the channel, man. There's a lot of content coming up to end September the right way. Until next time, and there will be that next time. Top guys, we're out. BC saying check you. Salute.